Hello?
Yes, Rick.
Anyone have Jenkins server?
No.
Try to install one Jenkins mission. Okay, so what exactly the Jenkins in our DevOps we'll discuss. What exactly Jenkins? So Jenkins is our CI and CD tool. So what exactly the meaning of CI and CD? Continuous integration and continuous delivery or deployment. Okay, so Jenkins can perform automation in CI and CD. Otherwise, we need to do all the steps manually. But if I go for the Jenkins, we can do the complete CI/CD operations can be performed automatically using the Jenkins. So now, Jenkins in CI can integrate with GitHub. Okay. Say with any of the source code management, it can integrate. Then for the build tool, Maven. For the unit testing, JUnit is a unit testing tool. It can integrate. Then, like we have a static code analysis, SonarQube, Nexus. Nexus is a Artifactory kind of tool. Okay, so your Jenkins can integrate with all these tools. Okay, then in the CD, the Jenkins can integrate with maybe first we require that infrastructure. For that, we can go for a Terraform kind of infrastructure. Then Ansible for the configuration management. Docker. Say in the Docker, what we are doing is creating Docker images. After creating the Docker images, what we need to do?
We need to pull the images.
Yeah. So before that, we need to scan the images. Then
Pull it from the Docker.
push to registry. Okay. So once we create the Docker images, we need to push to the registry. Once you push to the registry, we need to deploy this one either in Docker Swarm or Kubernetes. Say in our environment, we need to tell, we need to use, we are using Kubernetes. Maybe long back we can tell Docker Swarm. Then on top of that, we are going to deploy them these through Helm charts. We are using the Helm charts in order to deploy. Okay, so finally we are going to deploy. Once you do the deployment, we need to do continuous testing. So in order to do the continuous testing, we need to do, in the CA, we done regression testing, but here we are going to do, previously we done unit testing or integration testing. Here we are going to do functional testing or regression testing. What is the concept of functional testing? Is the functional behavior of the application has been working fine or not? We are going to test. Otherwise, regression testing, whether those features have been working fine or not, we need to test. After we go for functional testing or regression testing, finally we need to come for continuous monitoring also. In the continuous monitoring, we are going to do, maybe we are going to use the tools like Nagios or Jabix. So these are the old tools. So we have Prometheus, Grafana. Otherwise, we have Datadog, Splunk. So these kind of tools we are going to use for the continuous monitoring. Then we may need to report it also, continuous reporting also. So continuous reporting using Jira or ServiceNow. So what are the pipelines we have integrated if it is successful, failure? Okay, so these also we can integrate with the Jira or ServiceNow kind of tools. Okay, so these all our CI/CD tools we have. Okay, so in CI, what are the steps we are performing? We have the static code analysis. Then we have like Maven. Maven we are going to use for build. JUnit or TestNG we are going to use for integration testing. And SonarQube we may use for static code analysis. Nexus or JFrog we are going to use for Nexus or JFrog is used for what purpose? Artifactory. So what is the concept of Artifactory is, so once we got the build, we may get a jar file, var file, whatever the, it may be the output, it may be exe file. So we need to store somewhere. Okay, so that's we are going to store in the we are going to store in the
Nexus.
in the Artifactory. Okay, so that is we are going to store in the Artifactory. Then in the CD, we need to provision the infrastructure. We may use Terraform. Okay, for configuration management. The configuration management is Ansible. Then we need to have the Docker files. We need to build the Docker images. Okay, so then scan those images and push them to registry. You may use Docker Hub, ECR, DPR, ACR, whatever it may be. You need to push that image. Then for deployment, we are going to use the Kubernetes, and we will have the Helm charts and that Helm install commands. All those we are going to trigger from the Jenkins. Then continuous testing is also. In the middle of some CI/CD, want any automation, we will have some shell scripts or bash or Python scripts also. So those scripts also we are going to call it from Jenkins itself. Okay, so we may have some automation we may do through Jenkins, and that's we are going to install. So what is the Jenkins like plugins? All those we'll discuss, and how Jenkins has been developed. Jenkins has been developed on top of Java, but it's not only for Java-based application. Okay, so Jenkins is a very powerful application that allows CA and CD to deliver the projects regardless of the platform. That means Jenkins has been developed in Java. It doesn't mean it supports only Java-based projects. It supports .NET based projects, Node.js, React.js, okay, Python, whatever is maybe that platform, we can deploy our applications. And another advantage of Jenkins is it's an open source. Okay, so any of the CI/CD can be integrated. And another advantage with the Jenkins is they have vast set of plugins has been available. Vast set of plugins has been available for Jenkins. So that's also gives us flexibility to integrate with a lot of tools. So now here we have a TestNG, JUnit. Not only that, there may be another 5 to 10 build tools we can integrate other than Maven, Gradle. 5 to 10 like maybe integration tools like unit testing tools we can integrate. Artifactory is more it supports. Like this, we have rich set of plugins are available. Okay, so rich set of plugins has been available. So who developed those plugins is there is a lot of contribution for Jenkins also. A lot of companies are going to develop. Okay, plugins also we have more than 1300 plus plugins have been supported. That means Jenkins can be integrated with a vast set of tools. So with Jenkins, our applications or projects can accelerate the software development process through automation, and Jenkins can integrate development lifecycle process of all kinds like build, document, test, package, stage, deploy, static code analysis, and everything end-to-end integration can be performed by Jenkins. And that Jenkins capabilities we are going to get through plugins. So now we want to integrate Jenkins with AWS EC2, then EC2 or Cloud plugin would be there. We want to integrate with Azure plugin would be there. We want to integrate with Kubernetes plugin would be there. I want to use EKS, then EKS related plugin would be there. Okay. So I want to use GitHub plugin, Maven. Every tool Jenkins can integrate, but that corresponding plugin is required. If you don't have the plugin, then we don't get the capability. If you don't have the plugin, we don't get the capability to communicate. Now here in this example, in this diagram, Jenkins has been integrated with, so Git, Maven for build, so then for deployment, they may use Ansible or maybe Puppet, then continuous testing, they have Selenium, then finally they're monitoring with Nagios. So this is also very old kind of tools, but now we are going to use Docker, Kubernetes. So these kind of tools we are going to deploy. What are the advantages of Jenkins? It's an open source. Okay, and it's very easy to install, and vast set of plugin support is available, and it's free of cost and portable with most of the platforms. Okay, so what are the competitors we have for Jenkins? What are the competitors we have for Jenkins is, say, TeamCity is there. TeamCity is an enterprise product. That means it's a licensed product, not open source. Some companies prefer to go for TeamCity also. Otherwise, Azure having in the Azure DevOps, Azure pipelines are there. In the Azure DevOps, we have Azure pipelines also we have. Then we have a AWS code pipeline. AWS code pipeline is like AWS pipeline solution. Then we have GitLab actions can perform. GitHub actions also. So nowadays, so these kind of flows also GitHub actions or GitLab actions also is getting more demand. Okay, so Bamboo is also is there. Bamboo is also one of the competitor. Okay, so these are the competitors, but we can tell for CD also, Argo CD, Harness. So these kind of tools also. That means Jenkins can do both CA and CD. But there are some tools only will support CI. There are some tools who can support CD. Okay, so Argo CD supports CD only. Okay, so these all the CD tools also some of the companies may use. So where we need to have the Jenkins need to be installed. The Jenkins having an architecture of master and slaves. So why we need to go for master and slaves we'll discuss. So Jenkins having an architecture of master and slave. So normally Jenkins server where we are going to install Jenkins is the master. Okay, so Jenkins supports Windows, it supports Linux, it supports the Mac also is going to support Windows, Linux, or Mac is also is going to support. Okay, on top of that we can install the Jenkins. Okay, again in the slaves also we can have some of them are Windows slaves, Linux slaves, and Mac slaves also we are going to install. So what is CI, CD? I'll share this one. Yeah. So now here, this is the Jenkins architecture. In this diagram, so we have one GitHub repo. We have all the developers will push the code to GitHub repo. Then we have a Jenkins master or Jenkins server and two slaves we have. Okay, so two slaves we have here. One is for testing purpose. I'm going to use Selenium, and in the production servers we are going to deploy our application. Okay, so why we'll go for multiple servers for master and slave? We will go is say Jenkins master and slave. So more jobs can run in the parallel. How fastly you can perform CI/CD operations, that much success we are going to get in the project. Hence, if we add more slaves, then the workload can be distributed into multiple servers. So what is the advantage is your pipelines can be executed very fastly if you use your pipelines would be executed very fastly if you use master and slave kind of architecture. Okay, so Jenkins master. So what is the purpose of master is schedule the jobs on which nodes we need to run it. Okay, and dispatching bills also to the slaves. Where those jobs are running, in the slaves our jobs are running. Okay, in the master and slave, we have only Jenkins itself is master, then that is itself is act as a slave also. That means the master is also same server and the slave is also the same server. And we are going to monitor the slaves. Okay. So then finally, once the jobs are executed, you need to collect the bills and all those. And Jenkins master also can execute those. Slaves, in the slaves, we don't need to install Jenkins. Okay, so in the Jenkins, we need to like it takes the request from the Jenkins master instance and performs those. I have Linux instances, Windows instances, Mac instances. I want to perform a .NET based application on like maybe I want to perform a .NET based application on Windows Server. Java, I want to deploy on Linux. Otherwise, I want to deploy, one is on Docker Swarm, one is on maybe Docker Swarm and Kubernetes. For this, for different environments, we can go for different slaves. And the jobs also can be executed very fastly. Scalability also will come. And even one slave goes down also, your pipelines won't stop. We can execute the jobs. Okay, so now here, in this diagram, how many masters we have? One master and 3 slaves we have. Nowadays, people are expecting, even at the master level also, some of the companies are expecting high availability. That means even one master goes down also, another master should be up and running. But as of now, assume we have a master and slave kind of architecture. Okay, so if master is down, you may have some downtime, you can tell. Otherwise, even if the master goes down also, we can plan the high availability for that. In this example, one Jenkins slave may be Windows or all may be Linux also, because I want to run multiple jobs. It depends upon our requirement, we are going to choose it. Now here also, one Jenkins master is Windows, one slave is Linux, another slave is Mac. And while doing in the next class, we'll do the freestyle kind of projects. What is the concept of freestyle kind of project is over the GUI we are going to do it. Okay, so, but the main disadvantage of the GUI is we don't get the reusability. But in the real time, what we need to do is
CLI.
Not from CLI, we have a pipeline. What is that?
Pipeline.
Yeah, so pipeline we need to use. What is the advantage of the pipeline is it's a scripted one. Okay, so what is the advantage of the script is you don't need to do the things manually. Everything will get the reusability. Okay, so hence we are going to use the Jenkins pipelines, which is having the groovy kind of script. What is the advantage with that is for multiple environments, for multiple projects also we can reuse that script. And what is the plugin? Say by default Jenkins doesn't get the more functionality, more capabilities, more extensions. So by installing the plugins, we are going to get it. Okay, there are more than 1,000+ plugins have been there, and we can install those plugins and we can update the plugins, uninstall the plugins, all these operations we can perform. So mostly Jenkins, 90% Jenkins install on Linux. Sometimes we may have Windows also. Otherwise, Jenkins may be installed on as container also. Jenkins may use as a container also, or some companies, very rare, Kubernetes pod also. Okay, so what is the mandatory or prerequisite for Jenkins is Java or JDK is mandatory. Okay, if you don't install JDK, your Jenkins can't run. Otherwise, we can run as a container also. You can run as a Docker container also we can run. Okay, then for Jenkins and master slave setup, Jenkins need to be installed on master. Jenkins need to be installed on master. On slave, we need to install JDK only. That means only Java is required on the slave. So JDK need to be installed on the slave. So once you install the JDK, we will call as a SH key. What is the command to generate the SH key on Linux mission? What is the command to generate the key? In Ansible also we done, right? SH hyphen
Keygen.
keygen. So once you generate this key, copy the ID underscore rc.pub into where we need to copy this place. Then add the nodes from master by IP for authentication. We will have the private key in the master itself. Okay, so how to set up the master and slave also is our job. Okay, so Jenkins administration, plugin management, user management, credentials, how to manage the credentials. Okay, so then backup and restore kind of things. Node configurations. Okay, so these all like as an administration we need to done. Then pipelines, multi-branch pipelines we need to perform. And another role what we need to do is we need to integrate our Jenkins with the GitHub as a webhook. So what is the concept of webhook integration? Okay, so if we integrate the Jenkins with your webhook, if any code commits, automatically the pipeline is going to trigger. Automatically the pipeline is going to trigger whenever we have performed. If any developer or if anyone merge the code into GitHub, automatically the pipeline is going to trigger. And if you have dev, QA, staging and production environments, instead of having 3 pipelines, if you use multi-branch pipeline, what is the advantage? If you use multi-branch pipeline, what is the advantage? For multiple environments also, we can have only one pipeline. So we can have only the one pipeline even for multiple environments also. So that is the advantage of using multi-branch pipeline. That is the advantage of using the multi-branch pipeline. Yeah, any doubts still now? Are we using freestyle projects or pipelines? The freestyle project is a very old method. As of now, we are going to use the pipelines itself. So as of now, try to do Jenkins installation already be done. Through Docker also try to create the Jenkins installation, and everyone need to perform like master and slave kind of setup also. So how to set up Jenkins master and slave also try to practice. Okay, so it's not only for DevOps we are going to use. Developers also may use the Jenkins. QA teams also will use the Jenkins. On top of the Jenkins administration, monitoring also, backup and restore kind of activities, user management, plugin management. So these also we are going to manage and try to come with a solution of two Jenkins masters also. I want to Jenkins masters also. I want to perform the automation. And coming to here, try to install Jenkins. Already, I think we have already done the Jenkins installation. The freestyle projects is over the GUI only we can build. For the initial understanding of those, we can install the freestyle project. But going forward, we need to go for pipelines itself. Okay. So what is the advantage of using the pipelines is it's implemented as a pipeline as code, more reusability we are going to get it. So with the pipeline, we are going to get the more reusability we are going to get it. And the pipelines are like always robust kind of thing. Reusability will get. And these all the pipeline code we are going to keep in the source code itself. In the GitHub, we are going to keep. Hence, definitely will have a review mechanisms, approvals are there. Otherwise, we can't perform. Hence, we'll have a control also. Okay, so that is also one of the advantage of using that is also the advantage of using the pipelines. Definitely the pipelines, like we need to do the pull request, otherwise they don't accept, and anyone can review the code also, and auditing can be performed, and in the single location, everyone can access that the pipelines. Okay, so another way of Jenkins installation is you can take a Tomcat on top of web apps folder, we can configure the Jenkins master also we can set up. Okay, so in Tomcat we can set up the Jenkins as a master also we can set up that. And try to install Jenkins in all the methods and just go through Maven related some goals also. I'll share Maven related one video also. Just go through Maven related also. So we require good knowledge on Maven also. Just go through those things also. Okay, so what are the Maven goals? We have Maven pom.xml. Okay, so these are all the Maven goals. Normally we'll use MVN. MVN is the command for Maven. Clean, paste, and package. So like this, we are going to perform the Maven goals. Okay, so try to install the Maven. Maven also like through apt or m we can just install sudo